Once you have authorization, then you can use the autofill service. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time because the data that we have that I can demo this with is quite old, but it works much the same way today. So there haven't been any changes since we initially created this service. To access the autofill, you're going to go to the Data tab. You're going to go to the T2 autofill. And if I click on that, it's going to bring up another window for me. It's just going to ask you to just verify the client. And then if you want to use a different browser, it's going to default to Microsoft Edge. But if you want to use a different browser, you can click there and select the other browser that you want to use. You would then click Next. And it'll pop up another window for you where you would log into the CRA account with your e-file credentials, or sorry, not your e-file credentials, with your login information for Represent a Client. And then it will present another window just verifying what it is that you want to download. Once you've done that, and I'm just going to cheat, I'm going to use the download that I have from 5 years ago. I'm going to click Next. So from that window that you have where you determine which pieces of information you want to bring in, you would come to this window next. So it's very similar to what you would expect to see if you're working in the T1 module as well. So we have the option to import a few key pieces of information, some carry forward information into a data worksheet inside of Tax Cycle. So if I click Import Data, then all of that is going to come down into our autofill from Represent a Client. I'll get a message just saying when that was downloaded, what tax year that applies to, or sorry, when it was last assessed. And then if I go down this worksheet, there's a section on the refundable dividend tax on hand that's going to get populated. So some of those key carry forward balances that you need in order to prepare an accurate return will be here. And then these will also link into the relevant places inside of your T2 file. So and then we also have some information about the GRIP balances that come in as well, non-capital losses, capital losses, and then a history related to the ABIL. And then if there's a capital dividend account balance that's relevant, it will also bring in details related to that you can use when you're preparing the return. And then right at the very bottom is the corporate data. So it'll bring in the mailing address that CRA has on file, and we will give you a review message if it doesn't match what you have entered in the file. So you'll be able to sync up your data this way. So a useful feature inside of T2 and something that you might want to think about using if you're not already using this when you're preparing T2 returns.